Yes. Hello. I think I heard it gone. There we go. Okay. Good evening. Let's uh let's go ahead and get the meeting started. Welcome to the November meeting of the Milwaukee Area Woodturners. My name is Kevin Sigworth. I'm the president. Our demonstration presentation this evening will be on Christmas nativity scenes, and Mark Trenier will be our demonstrator. But before we get to the highlight of the evening, we've got some announcements and such. First order of business is George with financial report.
Okay. We have $12,463.73 in the checking account, of which $9,709.23 is our regular dues and what we're carrying over and what we pay for everything. And $27,5450 is what we have in our auction category, which we're going to use for the kids stuff. And we have 121 members, I think. I don't know. I haven't counted them. I don't have a list this week. But I had a great vacation. I did. We have gift cards tonight in the raffle, and next month we're going to have a $50 gift card. $50. So incentive to come and enjoy some holiday festivities with fellow woodturners. Great. I think that's all I got. Oh no, we have a guest, Wayne Bishop. Wayne, right there.
Welcome.
To be a member next month, but you have to supply all the food. That is good.
Okay. Thanks, George. So a couple of announcements before we do show and tell. Ken is making the t-shirts available. So if you ordered one of those, Ken has your name on it, and we'll collect the modest fee for those awesome shirts. Daryl, did you want to say anything about the youth turning? Okay, so Daryl Coleman has agreed to be the team leader for our youth turning effort. We're going to use the proceeds from the wood raffle, and Daryl's putting together our plan right now. I'll let him speak to that in a little bit.
Hi, for those that don't know me, I'm Daryl Coleman. Let's see. So we're in the very early stages of setting up a youth turning program. In terms of the timeline, there's not going to be any activities in terms of the actual turning yet this year. We're looking to target the first quarter of next year. We're going to start off with something simple. So for those who are interested in mentoring, we're going to have maybe 4 or 6 kids ages between 10 and 18 just come in here for a couple hours, turn a pen. While they'll learn to turn a pen, we're going to learn, all right, how does all this work? How is it going to work to interact with these kids? We have an idea of how to do this, but there's going to be some unknown. So we'll be learning as much as them. From there, we'll kind of check and adjust our approach. And then come quarter 2, then we'll probably look to expand the frequency and maybe the difficulty level of the projects they're going to work on. So that's it. So if you're interested in being a mentor, contact me or Kevin or Tony, and we'll get you on the list. Thanks.
We are starting to collect dues for next year, so you can come over, see Edwin or me, or bring them next week, or go online and start signing up. Yeah, we'll do it this month, next month, January. By January, they all should be in, right?
Yes.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Daryl. Couple more announcements. So Greg Richter asked me to make the announcement that on November 8th and 9th, the Turn for Troops event will be happening upstairs in the Woodcraft classroom. So if you have the opportunity to come by and help somebody turn a pen or turn a pen, uh, they're looking for additional volunteers. So you could reach out to Greg or just show up on the 8th or the 9th, I suppose. We'll be having a wood raffle this evening. You can see the back table is full of wood. We have a $25 Woodcraft gift card, and we have four $10 craft supply gift cards as well. So see Dave if you're interested in purchasing tickets. We'll do the raffle at the very end of the meeting. Linda Thompson, John Thompson's widow, stopped by again this evening and dropped off some more wood. So if you look on our racks there, where all of the wood that we auctioned off was, well, the racks are almost full again, and so she's been emptying out the basement, and also she donated John's turning smock. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that yet, but it's a extra large. Maybe we'll wash it. Maybe we'll put it on the raffle table. I don't know. If you have an idea, let me know. Show and tell we will do after the announcements. Okay, Milwaukee area woodturners, public demonstrations, holiday folk fair. Ron, would you like to say a few words?
First, I want to thank everyone who's volunteered. Overwhelming response for volunteers. It's really wonderful. And Kevin will concur with this. We've been having sort of a communication problem with the folks who coordinate that show and not getting all the information we need. They say we're going to be there, but we're still waiting for tickets and we're still waiting for a booth location. So sooner or later, we're going to get that information. I hope really soon because the event's only about 2.5 weeks off. And they're going to give us tickets. So anyone who's volunteered will get a 3-day pass. And there's other things in here. For instance, if you're going to be there, please try to demo. That's the main reason why they signed us up for free. We get a free booth. We're paying for power, but we get in a free booth because we're going to demo, and that's a big thing for them. So bring whatever. We're going to have 2 lathes. We're going to have the grinder. We're set up. Turn just itty bitty stuff, nothing fancy, and also if you can bring samples of your work. You don't have to bring a ton of it, but just bring a few samples so we can just lay things out and people can see what our members have done. There is security at night, so you can keep the things out there and not worry too much about. We're not worried at all, hopefully, if things getting ripped off. And if you want to sell things, you absolutely can lay things out on the table, put a price on them. You're going to have to handle any transactions, whether it's cash or check or a card reader or your phone, or however that works. You have to deal with that. And I'll have information for volunteer members on that. And this coming week, I'm going to be sending some information as far as we got so far. So if anyone who has volunteered and they have a question, contact me. If I don't have an answer, I'll talk to Kevin. And otherwise, we just have to wait until we do get all of our information. So hopefully we will.
Thanks, Ron. We do know that we're in the main expo center, so it's just where specifically in the building. But when she'll get to me, it just takes her a while to get back to me, and we'll get a location if nothing else when we show up. They'll say right over there. I believe I believe it's 40 feet long and 10 feet deep, and there's like 8 tables, so we should have quite a bit of space. We're just waiting for the entry tickets to be mailed, but we'll get them. Yes.
Hours. It's 2 days, right?
3 Fridays after the hours vary a little bit, but they're long games. So they go from about 9 or 10 in the morning over, and then that Sunday, 10 grand still. 10 yeah.
Okay, so the setup is Thursday from 10 to noon. The show is Friday, so that starts at 9 a.m. on Friday, goes till 9 p.m. at night. And then Saturday is 10 to 3. Actually, I'm sorry, 10 to 9. And Sunday is 10 to 6. Tear down is 6 o'clock to 7 on Sunday. So Ron has all this. I saw that you sent out an email to everyone that had signed up.
There should be another one going.
So you should have all that detail in your email. Okay. Next meeting, December 1st, is the Christmas holiday party. So there will not be a presentation or a demonstration. The club will be providing an entree, buns, soft drinks, water, etc. So if you could come, if you do decide to attend, maybe bring a dish to pass. And there is an optional gift exchange. So in the past, what people have done is turned a small turning, put it in a bag or wrapped it, and then there's an exchange. You don't have to do that to attend the party, but it's optional. Is there anything else that I need to it starts at the typical time, right? About 6:30. People will be here before that setting up. But any questions on the holiday Christmas party? It's usually a good time. Usually what, 20, 30 people, maybe more. Lots of food, yes. Yeah. So yeah. Right. Somebody brought some pretty awesome cookies last year. I remember those. Okay, show and tell. So looks like the show and tell table's back there. If we could start lining up and bring your stuff up here.
What are your channels available?
We may have to set it here if you need to set something down.
Gary and Jay and I went up to the art show up at DeForest Saturday, a week ago, or Sunday. And the woman that was demoing, Cindy Kraus, happened to be demoing this little hammer mallet. And as it turned out, she teaches kids at the school, and this is one of the projects. Pretty simple. I thought, it's a real practical item. Got it around the shop. You can use it, and they do screw on, but you don't have to cut threads ahead of time. Just kind of, if you get the approximate taper, you can turn them in. In fact, leave your piece a little longer and you can use a channel locks or something if you can't turn it. And then when you get them working to the point you want, then you can just cut it off. But I thought, what a real practical item that you can turn, and you're going to have a program for the kids. They take a reading, pipe thread is tapered. So about halfway down, they take a reading of the size, and that gets close. I didn't lay out the taper. I just, looked at it. That's about right. And the threads on the small one are better than the big one, but, they don't have to be glued in, not at this point. So, but I just thought it was, a practical item. And but it was a carving show and turning. I'd say there was about half of each J in it. Would you say there? Yeah, there was a lot of turners and a lot of carvers and some tables they had carving and turning, and really a good show. A lot of people was at the high school there, and so it was interesting. There was only one person from our club there, and that was Ron Engen. he had his decoys and he was set up there. A lot of carvers and turners from the Sheboygan Falls area, but none from our area here. So you can, if you want, you could put some BBs in there, lead shot or whatever to make it a dead blow. You know, I didn't. I just swing harder. So, but that's a good thing for the kids to start out on. And you know, tea is $2.50, $3, so it's not a expensive deal. But if I was to make another handle, I'd make the back part a little bit fatter again. So it's kind of, you know, you swing too hard, you might lose it. So, but anyway, I had to make it. It just seemed kind of practical. And this is out of Diamond Willow. Just one little oil. Yeah. Sit on it. Okay, so a bunch of stuff showed up in my shop this week or in the last couple of weeks. Some of the stuff is a black willow, a black yeah, lost my brain. Black locust. So yeah, and I tried to turn it. I think it's not really dry enough, to tell you the truth, because the finish keeps getting funny on it. So, and it's warping a little bit. But I tried to make it look halfway decent. You know, never worked with this before, so it's something new for me. And this was a piece of ash I had laying around in my shop. It was pretty thick, so I glued it, cut it in half, and glued it together. And then I reversed each piece on there, so I got that distinct line across it. But yeah, it turned out fairly decent. It cracked a couple of times on me, so I just filled it, yeah, to make it work out. My daughter asked me to make her a cake plate, and so I turned this piece of walnut for her, and the feather edge on here is just fantastic. I love the way it looked. So she's gonna make me a double chocolate cake for me. And then I have this piece of basswood that I turned and hollowed and dyed with trans tint, and then carved in the design. I seen something that Ron was very close to this, and I thought I could try that. You know, why not? But I was having fun. There's a lot of shavings on my floor. Thank you.
My piece is my piece is a little different than traditionally what you guys see. You guys usually make bowls and such. I really like dragonflies. So I turned a dragonfly with two cattails. It's English walnut, and then this is zebra wood. And then it has a walnut dragonfly with metal wings. I haven't figured out how to do wooden wings yet. So I purchased some metal wings, and then I did a dowel to give it the appearance of flight, so it can, fly over the other cattail. And then this was just a straight. That was just a straight dragonfly. And then I wanted to try to hone my skills, So this one I did an off-center turn so that I gave the the dragonfly a curve to the tail. And the same with this one. From Etsy. Yeah. And I just put them on with some little brass screws. And then I thought, well, why not make some big dragonflies? So then this one I turned with some natural edging in it. And then the same thing, I did it with a little bit of a curve with the offset turning. And then these are actually filigree wings that are used for stained glass when they do stained glass. This is for the underneath to give the illusion of dragonfly wings when they do the stained glass. So this is just maple, and then I did an English walnut as a large one also. So that's my artsy wood turning.
Really cool. I got a little shop time this week, and I started making snowmen years ago, and now everybody in the family wants one each year, and so I still haven't gotten far enough ahead to sell any. But this was out of box. This is totally box elder, and some box elder I had around, and then this one is a piece of maple, and then I inlaid the pieces of cedar, juniper actually. And there's a piece of this juniper on the giveaway table tonight. It's some it's 3 years air dried, seems to be pretty dry, ready to turn. So nice stuff. But I think I'm reverting back to my childhood. My favorite is turning tops. I've made tops for the grandkids and just about everybody in the family. Here, try it on here. So I turn the top and then just use some dyes, to get the colors, or colored pencils with CA glue for the finish. Makes a real quick finish. You just apply it, you're done. And then you can use any kind of a handle. I've made different types of handles, and got a little spinning top. And that one's got a little wobble to it. Real simple handle, just made out of, just make a circle with a hole in it. That one runs a little better. I won't spin this one, but it's the same as the first one. But those will be some Christmas gifts. That'll spin for about 2.5 minutes. That's the best one so far. It's a piece of I think it was babinga wood. It's very heavy. The heavier the wood you use on the base of the top, the better it'll spin. Parts and pieces here. No?
I made about 9 of these, different colors, wood, some light, some dark. Um, they're hollow inside. This is basically 8 little spears of wood on a 22.5-degree angle, glued together. The turning is the easy part. Just gluing it up, and like I said, I made 9. We keep one. My wife gives all the rest away. So, and every once in a while, I get a little segmented project going. This has 36 pieces in each layer. It's over 60 layers thick. If you do the math, there's 2,323 pieces of wood in this. And if you've ever glued, you know it doesn't, after it dries, it's not perfectly flat. I don't own a power surface sander. I sanded every layer flat by hand on a 1-inch piece of MDF with sandpaper on it. I just sand them flat before I stack them up. And sure. I have no idea. So I didn't keep track because it would be a big number though. So, but it was fun though. Like I said, my wife doesn't understand how I can just sit in the basement for so long, gluing and sanding, but I don't find any boredom at all. She does, but it turned out pretty damn nice, I think so.
So have you colored the
No, these are all different types of wood.
different woods?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and there's
Was pieced right.
when you glue it together, there's 3 patterns to the glue ups. So you got to make sure. I had a big sheet with everything documented and sheets with A, B, or C. Which layer has to be A pattern, B pattern, C pattern, and uh, the planning takes a while too. So, thank you.
I'm not going to show, I'm just going to tell. So I just bought this gallon of glue upstairs. And I don't know if maybe all of you or most of you already know this, but glue bottles, whether it's a 4-ounce, a 16-ounce, a quart, or a gallon, always has a code on it somewhere. And that's going to tell you the date it was, the year, the month, the date, and the batch when the glue was made. If you look online, you're going to get, some say, 2 years shelf life, some say 10 years, cool, dry conditions. You want to keep glue. Usually, I don't have to worry about that because I go through it kind of fast. But if you've got glue sitting around, if it's especially tight bond, it's going to get orangey looking and it's going to get like super thick. And if it does that, toss it and get some more glue. So right here, A, I've never seen any other letter outside of A. A stands for USA. It's made in the USA. Don't know where else it would have been made, but that's what I've seen on every single glue bottle. 2-4 was made 2024. 06, what would that be? That would be June. And the 5th of June, and the batch is 097. That doesn't mean anything, but at least when you maybe you go to Menards or Home Depot, or you go to some off-site, box store or somewhere else, and maybe it's a craft store and you see bottles of glue there, kind of just take a peek. Take a peek at that number. And if it's, 21 or 20 or something, dig to the back and see if there's more in the back. Maybe the back ones are the fresher ones. You never know, but just information. That's it.
Anybody else have anything for show and tell this evening?
That's fine.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Been making a lot of smaller bowls because I got some different materials, like another small cherry chunk that I had laid around. And my grandma had some of this, I think it's ambrosia maple, that streak in there, but smaller little 4x4 chunks. So that was one of the chunks. I tried something square. Turned out pretty nice, except it's hard when you go down that side and you don't have it full round and then you can't have any support in between. So I made a couple of those little ones. And then you gave me some, I forget what it's called. It's kind of like ash. And turn that. It's really dusty and all that, but it's kind of cool. That's what I've been working on.
Mark, are you wired up?
I'm wired up.
All right, we'll turn this
Just
one on.
turn it on, I assume. But you know what you do when you assume. We're on? You can hear me? Good. Oh, I hope so. Um, last year, I had cancer surgery in June. And actually, it's 2 years ago. 2 years. I don't know. I had cancer surgery. I couldn't move for 6 months because they wanted me to make sure I didn't injure anything when they were playing around inside of me. So I was on YouTube for all that time. And I found this guy by the name of Colwyn Way. And this is his take on German wood turning. It's from the Erzgebirge region, otherwise known in English as the Ore Mountains. And my grandmother and grandfather on my mom's side came from Prussia, and they are German people. So I figured, yeah, well, this will be good. I'll get in contact, get in touch with my roots. And the first one that I did, I posted it online, and someone said, "I'll give you $150 for that." And I was packing it up. I mean, like, I'll bring it over to your house. And my wife goes, "What are you doing?" Someone is going to pay me $150 for this. And it's a little set. It's like maybe this big. She goes, "No, they're not." I said, "No, they're good for it." She says, "No, you don't understand. That's mine." And I go, that's information that would have been helpful before I sold it. So I had to make another one. And this year I made huge sets. And I was checking the price in Germany. And last year, if you had Mary Joseph, 3 shepherds, 3 wise men, donkey, camel, and a ox, that went for $169. This year, before you put the tariff on, it's close to 400. And that doesn't give you any display. That's just for the figures. So this is something that they do. Basically what happens is these guys couldn't go and mine during the winter. So it was too cold. So what they would do is they'd make these things and then sell them at Christmas markets. So this is all spindle work. This is nothing altogether too difficult. And you use up all this wood that literally would have gone to waste. So I'll just kind of get to it. You are basically making, this is about I'll pass this one around. These are all seconds here. These are all my mistakes. So what you're basically making, almost all the figures are this shape, kind of like a bullet. You can adjust, adapt, improvise, make different shapes however you want. And I have done that. But Joseph, to delineate Joseph from a shepherd, Joseph has a lantern. Why? It's in the song. It's a Christmas song. That's all I know. So I'll be making a Mary and a Joseph. Now, the Mary is kind of interesting because every time you make one, you make 2. Because what you do is you saw this in half. So the Mary, I don't know how many different Marys I have at home in a box because everybody wants a specific kind or something, and then there are always 2. And this one I drilled through the back, so it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits around. But I'll show you how to turn the pieces before they get cut. And then I use a handsaw, but I'm told that there are people who have band saws, and you could probably do it a whole heck of a lot easier, a whole heck of a lot quicker. So use any tools you want to for spindle turning. I use basically big roughing gouge and my Badan. And that's it. And you basically, like I say, have all kinds of leeway. And you don't have to make the Mary like that. You can make it any old way you'd like. There's another version. So if you look online, YouTube has got, I don't know how many different um, iterations of this thing where he's made all kinds of them. And he does all kinds of Christmas shows, and he does the German smokers and all kinds of other stuff. But this is just pretty straightforward. I'll do the parts for the Mary, but I didn't bring a saw to saw them in half. But you get the idea from the one that's getting passed around. And if you have any questions, just yell or attempt to. Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry. Even professionals get catches. Oh boy, that was brilliant. Hmm. So there you go. That would be Mary's body. Oh, I suppose I should explain this. You can connect these any way you want. This is called a light pull drive. They cost about 25 bucks. And you basically drill a 6 millimeter hole in the bottom, and that's how you stick it on the lathe. You can also do it between centers. Really doesn't make any difference. But basically, this is her body. Now we have to make her mantle. I dyed these blue during the summer and haven't made any bodies for them yet. So, oh, that one's not drilled. Oh, and basically when you look at it, like this is an angel, and the same body that I make for Mary is the same body that it's made for the angel. So as you can see, this does not take a whole heck of a lot of wood for any of these things. They're all small little pieces. I've made figurines as high as 18 inches. So when these size are about 3 or 4. The big ones that I make, those are about 6 inch. And don't ask me why I make the angels yellow. I just do. Maybe because it's gold, but I had a bunch of yellow heart that just shimmers. And my wife was poking around in my shop and she said, "What's this yellow stuff for?" And I said, "I don't know." And she goes, "Make angels from it." Why she was in my shop, I'm not exactly sure. But I don't usually ask her questions like that because it usually gets me in trouble. Not usually, it does. Oh boy. Lathe maintenance is a must, kids. Ow. This is not my lathe. Oh, and I bought these off Amazon, angel wings. So I don't have a scroll saw, and they were mental cheap at the time I bought them. I don't know how much they are now, but that's basically it. That's your angel body. Slap on the wings, and I'll make the head. Halo's optional. In other words, when my wife wants an angel, I have to put a halo on it. When I make my angels, they don't have halos. Why? They're beings of light, I guess. I don't know. I'm lazy. Could be anything. So to me, this light pull drive just makes things a whole heck of a lot easier. And when I'm doing doing these, I make a whole bunch at the same time. Yeah, that doesn't sound tight. Like I say, this is each one that I make is individual. I don't try and make them. I don't want to make them identical. I want each one to be different. Like I said, when I made those this summer, the 4 huge sets, um, like I said, there's a bunch of parts, and it just depends on what people want and how they want it to look. So oh, there it is. Really? Whoa. Yeah, that's not good. That was a 1/4 inch roll gouge, and it was really hopping around on me. Whoa. This is not my lathe. I know that sounds weird. That sounds goofy, but I just whacked off a piece of their halo doing that. My lathe is different, smaller. The nice thing about here is I don't have about 7,000 pounds of dust on the floor. So I actually found that one, but that's basically what happens. So I'm not going to make another one of these, but you basically get the idea. That's what you do. And we will go on to the rest of Mary's body. Any questions so far? Boy, what a captive audience.
Have you ever heard multiples on the same spindle? No, multiple heads?
No,
No.
no, I I could. I just it's one at a time and then they're done. So what happens is when I'm doing these, I'll do all the bodies. And then I do all the heads. And then I do all the hands. Then Joseph gets his lantern. So it's kind of like production, but everything's different. And the problem with this is it's olive and there's a nice little thing running right through the middle. Light pull, Lightpull. Light pull drive. And I can't remember where I bought mine from. Might have been from that place in Arizona. Might have been from the place in Utah. I might have even ordered them from Axminster in England because that was before tariffs. But it's a real handy thing that I lost. This is not my setup. See, at home, right here, I have all my drives, everything else. It comes off here, it goes back where it belongs. Here, I just put it down, and that's always dangerous. Here it is. Now, I am told at one time they were thinking of making the imperial version of this rather than the metric version. But I don't know if that ever came to being. And the problem with that Axminster is in England, they don't keep stock on hand. You know, they take orders and we need 5,000 of these and we might make like 25 extra and that's it. And then you're waiting. So I can't guarantee they have one. Making all those heads. You know what I would do? What I should have done, but I'm not that bright. Wooden beads. They have wooden beads that have like an 1/8 inch hole in them. Have you ever seen it? Well, my wife used to drag me along to Joann Fabrics before it went out of business. And they had wooden beads, all different diameters. And probably the one that's about, I don't know, looks like 3/4 of an inch, that size. All you'd have to do then is take an 1/8 inch dowel, put that right through there, put the thing on top, the halo, and you're golden. You wouldn't have to mess around with all this stuff. But too quick we get old, too late we get smart. Oh, that worked out well. If you're wondering, I kind of keep my tools sharp, like surgically sharp. So when they fall off the lathe, they cut me. So that's why all my tools get put back right over here. I take it, I put it back. Um, Otherwise, my wife is always wondering how I got these scars on my leg. Where's that from? What? I don't know what you're talking about. And then she just shakes her head. They're not deep. It's just a scratch. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Okay, never mind. Yes.
Whenever it's a good,
Break time?
when it's a convenient time.
Yeah, all I'm doing is sanding, so we can take a break now.
Do it now.
Yeah, do it now, and then we'll come back and I'll do Joseph and uh, show you what we're doing with Mary. I am ready. All right. So during the break, people were watching me, how should I say, rather frightened that this was going to come tearing off. And all I did was get a little nub on there and then sand it off. And all this is a 6-inch plate, face plate with a self-adhesive hook and loop. And then I use 80 and 150 grit, and that's it. So you end up then this is not my shop. There we go. You end up then with Mary's body. Now, like I say, usually I saw these in half, but if you're kind of lazy or you don't feel like sawing, yeah, sorry. You sand a flat on it. Again, not my shop. And I don't know if you can, where do we have our camera? So if you kind of, are we seeing that? Yeah. Okay. So you can see if you sand it off a little bit more, you don't have to bother with sawing it in half. Mary will be nice and neat. You have a blue mantle. And I looked it up as to why Mary wears blue. It has something to do with women in her time. Blue was the color for women to wear. So when she was around, uh, women wore blue. So they also had some part of them that was red, but I don't remember. I just, it was one of those days where I said, why do we do that? So you Poland Way uses 5-minute epoxy to glue these things together. And the first ones that I did, that I tried it that way, the heads fell off or they were cockeyed. And I had a bunch of demented looking figurines. And of course, that's when my wife chose to come down in the shop and look at what I was doing. And she goes, those are hideous. I said, I know. And she goes, well, you're not going to leave them like that, are you? I said, oh, of course not. No, no, I've got an idea. And about a half hour later, I did. So 1/8 inch dowels, you drill an 1/8 inch hole in whatever you want to connect. So you'll notice all these people here, their heads are connected to the body with an 1/8 inch dowel. With the 5-minute epoxy, they're not falling all over the place or doing anything else. This is held on the same way. Just an 1/8 inch dowel. You drill it, put it in, boom, you're done. And even if you drop them, I haven't had one break. I shouldn't say that. I had a toddler come over and grab Mary and rip her head off. And then they were proud of themselves. And I was like, yeah, give me that. Where I hit you. No, you can't hit little kids. They're too cute. So, but other than that, that solves that problem. And like I said with Joseph, the only difference is we have to make a little hand, and we'll do that, and a lantern. Yes. Yeah. Okay. 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 I can explain if you let me. All right. So what Coleman Way does is he takes this hand here and puts it under the lantern. And I was having one heck of a time getting the lantern and the hand drilled so they were in the right place. So seeing as how these are impressionistic and not realistic, his hand is just imaginary, let's say. So we don't see both hands. So it's simply, it made my life easier. Now, if you look at the German ones all have like Mary's hands, like this, but they're flattened only on one side. So whatever it is glued onto the hands. And I assume the hands are put inside the body. And they only have one. So it makes it easier for me. I could make 2 hands. Don't tell my wife, because she'll want me to make a bunch of little hands for everybody. Let's not go there. Okay, does that make sense? I'm not giving it to you. You guys are terrible. So that's now the thing. I looked up Joseph and men's coats from the time. Yeah, I had nothing but time, so I had a lot of time to look this stuff up. And Hebrew men either wore a single color garment and a single color mantle, hood, I don't know what you'd call it. Cloak, thank you. Or they had their family pattern. So each one of the, tribe pattern, not family. So each one of the tribes had a different pattern that was striped. If you were from the house of David, you had one stripe. I didn't feel like going into all of that. So I just make Joseph plain. Besides, Mary's the show. You know, your attention should be drawn to her and baby Jesus. And people were asking me about the baby Jesuses. And the first one I made it this size, just rounded it and made it this size. And my wife took one look and she said, there's no way a baby that big came out of a woman that small. So make it smaller. Now, as I told the people during break, There are probably 10, 15, 20 that got vacuumed up because they're tiny. And then they tend to roll off the manger. And the reason why the manger is like that is because in Jesus's time, it was simply a stone trough. So this block of stone was hollowed out, and that's where they kept the water for the animals in the manger. And the manger is not like a cave, according to this new. Don't get me started. According to new research, the Greeks only use one word for where Jesus is born, and it's translated into English. It means lower room. Now, Joseph had to go back home to where he was from, so he was staying with family. And the whole idea that there's no room in the inn isn't exactly true. His entire family would have been in that house. And if you're having a baby, you sure as heck don't want everybody looking at you. So the word that they translate as inn actually means lower room. So it's this room that is attached to the house that holds the animals. Does that make sense? Okay. So I actually saw a rendering, an artist's rendering of the thing, and it literally would be there'd be a large opening, might have a door, might not, and it would have a gate to prevent the animals from wandering off. So the animals would be in this lower room, and that's where Joseph takes Mary and probably a midwife, because according to Jewish religion, the husband's not supposed to be around when that baby's born. So they went into this lower room, which was translated as inn, good old King James version. And according to them, that's really the way it was supposed to be. So the manger is simply a stone trough that's hollowed out and water's kept in there. So I assume they must have sopped up all the water or it was all dry, because you're not going to put a newborn baby into the water. Somebody get in trouble, probably the husband. So that, as they say, is that. Joseph. Okay. Whoa. Now to make sure that these figures stand flat, this one I have to, I'll show you how to sand that off. You have to kind of taper it in this way. But if you go in too far, what'll happen is this will loosen up. And that's another cool thing about the light pull drive. It'll simply stop turning, and then you just tighten it up a little bit more and you're good to go. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you take length off of this, it means that you have to put things back the way they belong. And I also found out from experience that walnut does not accept polyurethane too well. So what I started doing with my figures is I started using Danish oil. Thank you. And it makes things a whole heck of a lot easier. Except for my one family friend who wanted everything shiny. Sorry about the dust. So we've got that little nub there. And all this is a 6-inch faceplate with hook and loop sandpaper on it. And I use two grits, 80 and 150. And that's it. So I have this tool rest for making boxes. And it holds things at a much nicer angle for me. And what you want to do is don't be like me. Oh, do that. But what you want to do is instead of making a facet where it doesn't belong, Sorry about the dust. And then take your drill bit. Drill an 1/8-inch hole. And you will find that the 1/8-inch dowels that you buy from Lee Valley are not an 1/8-inch. And you'll go, oh, I have a nice 1/8-inch hole. I'm just going to put that dowel right in there. Yeah, they're too big, or my drill bit's too small. So you go, oh my gosh, Mark, what do? You be a Marine. Adjust, adapt, improvise. And you take your piece of sandpaper and make sure. What did I do that? I'm losing stuff left and right here tonight. It fits that hole. So of course I didn't bring my little tiny saw to saw these off. But then all we have to do is make his hat and his face. And that's usually pretty easily accomplished. Usually. And all these chunks of wood that I have laying around that are too pretty to throw out, or as I say, well, I got to use that for something. This is one of those things I use it for. See, at my house, I have this little handy dandy plastic thing with magnets on it that holds my key right here. So I never have to look for it, usually. Okay, so what I found was a whole heck of a lot easier than as Holden Way does uh, with gluing everything together. Is I make a 1/2-inch hole in what's going to be his hat. And you're going, why? Oh, I'll show you in a second. You know, oh yeah, no, no. And no, in Joseph's time, they didn't have these nice little hats. But in Germany, um, they wear a wide, the shepherds in the area where these guys make these things have a wide brim hat. So all the shepherds have these wide brim hats on that look totally out of place, at least to me. So this is just my interpretation of what I think it should look like. And then if you're lucky, it doesn't go flying off. And you have your hat. Now I got a whole bunch of scraps of olive, Mediterranean olive, not from Jerusalem, because somebody felt I needed more wood. How foolish. So, uh, just as well, I guess that wasn't too bright now, was it? Just pure conceit on my part. Whoa. So no more strength. And there's his hat. Gee, whiskers. And then what we do is we kind of eyeball it. And again, when I'm making these things, I have a whole bunch of heads that I make all at one time. So I just have a whole bunch of Joseph heads, a whole bunch of Mary heads, all the rest of those guys. The Magi usually end up with fancier wood. So close. Boom. Hey. Whoa. Where did that come from? Oh, good. That was a happy circumstance. I've already got a flat on the back. I don't have to sand it. Okay. And olive wood smells wonderful. At least I think it does. And I will be putting up online the directions that I made. I did a PowerPoint of all the steps with a lot of pictures. I did that this summer. Uh, so again, when I'm at home, that stuff comes flying out like there's no tomorrow. When I'm by you guys, it decides it's going to be nice and polite. Okay, now where's the flat part? There we go. Well, it's like the floor has gotten another one. So at home, I have one of those Suzuki saws, little Japanese saw, so that I can cut these much more quickly. Okay, great job. Are you kidding me? Where did I put his head? Then for the hand, how much time do I have left? Nah, we're good. So for the hand, all I do is I take about a 3/4 inch or smaller piece of wood, and I drill the hole first. Because if you turn that hand that small and try and drill through it, 9 times out of 10 it's going to crack. So I drill the hole first, then turn the hand. And same thing, I put an 1/8 inch tenon on it, glue that puppy in. And that's all it is. Okay?
Mark, appreciate it.
Much to this. It's I think basic turning, fun turning, and the most interesting thing you do is you select the wood.
Great. We're excited about the end of wood route. They are, when you ready and we love, we love. So, you want to take that? Otherwise, why? Take away.